welcome. You're listening to Frisky Biscuit right here, the podcast that seems like it's never going to make it on the air, and we finally make it. This is Dr. G, and I have my cohort,
Lisa.
And she's here bright and early this morning, and I'm not so sure about myself. But we've got a great program for you today. We have someone that is very special to us, and he's special to a lot of people out there that drive leisure travel vans. His name is Dean Corrigal. He's going to be our guest today, and Dean has been with us before on other projects, and we're excited to have him with us. And Dean's an avid golf fan.
Yes, we're going to talk about golf today. And what I love about Dean, we have a saying that we came up with for Dean. He's the most infamous, famous person on YouTube. So those of you that know Dean, you require and know him. I
even have a cup with him on there. Dean is, if I can get my thing here to work, I want to show it to you. Right there, Dean Corrigal. And we gave him one of those cups several years ago, and as we interviewed him for another program. But he is a cool guy, and we can't wait to talk to him today. So he's going to be with us in a few minutes. So what do we got going on today, Lisa?
Well, let's talk a little bit about the last couple of days. We took a road trip ourselves. That was quite fun. And it was a day trip that we took. And it was really cool to see how many, there's so many RVs and trucks out on the road. There was probably a third of the amount of RVs that there were truckers out there. And I was surprised how many Class A's were pulling Jeeps. I was just amazed at how many large RVs were on the road. It's so cool. Yes.
These big old Class A's pulling the Jeeps. We kind of make fun of them because all of them are pulling Jeeps, or most of them are. And could never figure out what the reason for that is. And we find out that most cars can't be towed. And Jeep's one of those things that has a freewheeling axle, and it's convenient to tow them without doing a lot of modification work. So.
And the amount of older RVs. There's a few that were a little sketchy. We tried to get around them, or attempted as soon as we could.
To say the least. Man, we looked at one yesterday. The tires were totally bald on it, and it was a little travel trailer, and I was feeling sorry for the guy. It's kind of a vintage unit, and man, his tires were bald.
And what about the extra tire?
And the extra tire had a white wall on it. That's how old it was. It's the last time you saw a white wall on a tire.
Yeah, we got around him really quick. He was shaking and shivering.
Well, what do you see? We're talking about golf today.
Yeah, golf was invented in 1457. I didn't realize how many years.
I remember that. That's just back when I was born.
And in Scotland. Most people know that it was invented in Scotland. But did you know that golf actually was banned 3 times by the King of Scotland between 1457 and 1744. 3 different times. Any idea why?
Probably for pornography out there. Those guys wearing kilts and somebody falling down and somebody seeing something he probably shouldn't have.
No, that's a good thought process. But no, it was because it interfered with the military and the military training. Everybody just wanted to go play golf. And, it was the shepherds originally that came up with golf, which makes sense. When they had a little bit of time, they took a stick and got some rocks out there and just saw how far they could do the...
It makes you wonder when you stop and think about that, when they invented golf, who thought that would be a cool idea? I got an idea. Let's take a rock and just click it with a stick, and we're going to make a game out of it. But you know what? It turned into quite a game, and the evolution of the golf ball was pretty interesting in and of itself.
Yeah, the golf ball was originally designed, and they had feathers that they put around, and they got them wet, and it was kind of like a leather wrapped with feathers. And now look how much the golf ball has evolutioned over time. I remember when I was a kid, we would cut the balls open because my grandfather used to play golf, and all the strings that came flying out, and it would bounce all over the place.
It looked like a little nuclear explosion.
Yeah.
He used to have fun doing that.
And, golf was really interesting, too, is because they used to play it downtown and at business sites, and it started interfering with life because you'd be walking down the street, and all these balls would be flying. Scotland, I love the Scots. When I was a guide, for many years, I took people around the world on vacation, and one of my favorite groups that came on we had a lot of Europeans, a lot of English, a few Germans, some South Africans. But when we got the Welsh and the Scots, it seemed like everybody laughed so much more. I mean, you guys have such a great sense of humor. I don't understand the garble that much.
Mostly drunk all the time. That's probably why
Maybe.
they're not dosing in reality half the time. But,
Maybe.
I do. I have Scottish blood in my background, and I can relate to that. They're kind of jolly people.
Yes.
You know, they're
Yes.
jolly people.
Yeah, and good jokes.
They always have white hair and dark eyebrows. I don't know. There's something about that.
And I don't understand them very much when I garble a little bit, but they're a lot of fun.
Our neighbor does a good Scot. We were having dinner with him last night, and he was talking Scottish, and it was hilarious. And he's a golfer.
Yes.
There's a connection there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a dentist. And, the dentist, there was a dentist, his name was Dr. George Grant. He was a Harvard dental school. And he was the second African-American to earn a dental degree. And he is credited for designing the golf tee. He patented it back in 1899, which makes sense, The dentists are quite interesting people because they're always thinking and looking at little details. So he found the details of, they used to just do it on a plot of sand, right? They get the sand wet and put the golf ball on it and hit it, and then sand would go flying everywhere.
Yeah. That thump you keep hearing is Lisa hitting the desk.
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah. We haven't got a very good soundproof mic system here.
Yeah, and I talk with my hands. I've got that English, German,
I'm gonna bungee
Scottish,
cord her
Irish
hands
myself.
down here because I keep getting these spikes going, what is that? Did we have an earthquake? We're close to Yellowstone. All right, back to golf. I was digressing there.
There's an awful lot of golf courses. How many golf courses do you think are in the United States? Or around the world? Let's go for around the world.
Well, probably just in the United States. When I was living in Phoenix, there's just a lot of them there. That's like 300 or 400 in one town. So I got to say there's 5,000 of them.
In the world, there's 34,000 golf courses.
34,000 golf courses. Well, that gives an opportunity to have some beautiful walks.
And more being built. China has kind of banned them, although they're still building them.
Well, China doesn't want anybody having any fun, of course.
I don't know. They have fun. Okay, what do you think your chances of getting a hole-in-one are?
Oh, man, I tell you what, just ever getting one in a lifetime. So a hole-in-one is one of those very special things. Of course, you just hit the ball and it goes in the hole, and there you go. So doing that twice in one game or 3 times in a game, I think the odds are in the millions.
Well, if you do it
billions.
once in a game, it's 1 in 12,500. So that's not too bad.
That's not bad. That's a lot better than I thought it would be.
In a game. 2 hole-in-ones in one game. Your odds are, I don't think I'd bet on this one, 1 to 67 million.
Man, I tell you what, boy, the odds really change, don't they?
Yeah.
It really changes. So if you get 2 hole-in-ones in one game, I would definitely go out and buy myself a lottery ticket.
Yes.
That is your day.
Yep. And we got to talk about Tiger Woods. I mean,
Golf and Tiger.
Yeah. Tiger started at 6 months old, where he was really interested in golf.
He's amazing.
6
Amazing
months.
guy.
His dad started training him when he was 2 years old, and he himself got a hole-in-one when he was 8 years old.
That's pretty amazing.
And he has made $100 million on the golf course. So it's a pretty lucrative field if you're the best of the best.
He may win the Masters as many times as he has. I tell you what, that guy is something else. If you ever watch him play, especially in these earlier years, he was like non-stoppable.
Well, he won
amazing.
81 PGA tournaments.
That is
81.
Amazing.
And he's coming back now. I mean, he did really well. What was it, last week when he was in his big tournament?
I think, he's had a lot of health issues and a lot of stuff go bad for the kid. But I tell you what, I'll bet you he has a huge comeback.
Yeah. Well, he's starting, right?
Yeah.
His health is getting better. And
he's going to
go
prove.
Tiger, we love you.
You can do it again.
Yeah.
Do it again.
We're rooting for you. And I know you have everything in your life kind of put together now. So this is your second round. So
it happens.
We're rooting for you.
We all have to re-put things in our life back together. Well, we're not going to get into that right now. So.
Well, some of the other golf terms like birdie. How do you think birdie came about?
Well, I think a guy probably hit a golf ball and knocked a bird out of the air.
It's exactly right.
Is that what happened?
Yep. His name was Ab Smith, and he was an American guy. And it was
Who needs a shot
back
guy?
in 1889, because golf started really taking off in the late 1800s, and he hit a bird, and so they called it a birdie, and it stuck.
You know what a birdie actually is in golf?
Isn't it where you just hit it once and you get it in the
Boy,
second time? I don't play golf.
You can see
so.
we're acting like we know what we're talking about here.
What is a
And
birdie?
I can't remember either now that I think it's something where you hit it under the par or something like that. I haven't played golf in years, and I can't remember what a birdie is. Oh, I wish I wouldn't even ask the question now.
I played golf once, and my dad had the original golf clubs that were really big, and they were all wood. And I was on the golf course, and I actually did pretty good. And a guy came up to me. He goes, I have no idea how you're hitting that ball with those clubs.
I'll tell you, a little bit about you is I have noticed, because shooting a gun, she never shot a gun before, went out, and we had a police officer teaching her how to shoot a gun, nailed it. Bullseye, 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 bullseye. The guy thought she was sandbagging. Everything she does, she goes out and just nukes it. She's an archer and started shooting bows and arrows. And, man, I'll tell you what, just boom, boom, boom. And now golf. You're saying golf. You just went out there and whacked it.
Well, I did pretty good, but the clubs were I wish I had them now, because they were the original set of the wooden clubs that my dad had
carved out of a
when
log.
he was young. Yeah. Yeah, and
interesting.
I don't know what happened to them.
They're probably in somebody's basement somewhere now.
Yeah,
as a $1 million collector item.
So, did you know that golf was the only sport that's ever been played on the moon?
Well, it would be. That's true. They hit a golf. They did hit a golf ball on the moon. I remember that. I remember watching. I saw that live. As live as it could be. Yeah. That was pretty cool. These guys running around, bouncing around up there, and they're playing golf.
I suppose you couldn't have a baseball, because throwing it back and forth, it would just kind of take off.
Float a little bit.
Or football.
I always wanted to go to the moon and weigh myself.
Yeah.
I'd feel good about myself for about 10 minutes there.
Well, that's about all I have with golf, except for one other thing. There's a common superstition in golf that if you're having a really good game, not to wash off your ball, because on the golf courses you can wash your balls off, and they say you're going to wash off your good luck if you wash your ball on the golf course.
You got to be really careful what you're talking about right now when you're talking about people washing their balls.
Okay.
That just kind of hit me. Okay. And I'm just doing quality control and standards and practices here. So Lisa meant golf balls, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't wash that luck off those balls there.
Oh, man.
I think we ought to go to a different subject now.
Okay, so I got to say this thing with this campground stuff going on, we're hearing all over the place. You can't get campgrounds. It's crowded. People can't find any place to camp there. This camping thing over the last couple of years with COVID really turned into a thing. And these RV dealers are selling stuff still as fast as they can get it. Leisure Travel Van, who Dean Corrigal is going to be with us here in a few moments, they are so far behind that he's embarrassed about it. And their van's very expensive, and it's has to be custom built. It's handmade. However, they're way behind, and they're almost fighting getting orders right now, and a lot of them are. And then they translate that into now everybody's got an RV, so there's no campsites available. And Lisa and I live in one of the most beautiful places in the United States, where it's got a couple of the parks that are the most desirable to go visit. And we just spawned to, well, go ahead and tell them, Lisa, how campsites are available right now, because it's if you're discouraged and you're not going to travel, and I understand the gas thing, but if you want to go camping and you want to get out there, right around some of these beautiful parks, these big ones, there's stuff available.
Yeah, I was able to just find some campsites right outside of Yellowstone. And like we talked about last week, Yellowstone is huge this year because they're having a big anniversary. However, there was several available. Now, it's the 1st of June that we're going, so that is a beginning of the season. I suppose July and August probably are a lot busier than the 1st of June. However, and it's cold this year. There's probably some snow still in that area, so maybe people haven't crept over to this region yet. However, what we're hearing in the news is all about how there's no campsites available. And I just scored 2 nights back to back. Actually, I could have gotten 3 nights if we wanted it in Yellowstone or right outside of Yellowstone. So I would say get online, go to those websites, see what's available. There's apps that you can function on your phone and on your computer that will tell you if they are sold out. If somebody cancels, there's always cancellations at the last minute. So I wouldn't let that deter you from going.
What's your favorite app for doing that? You might let people understand. Some people out there are unaware that a couple of these apps are pretty amazing. Which one is the one you
I don't know right offhand. I personally do not use that app. I haven't had any problem with finding campsites ourselves. We boondock a lot, and we also just go. And we've been really lucky just to find a campsite or do something at the last minute. So I don't have that right in front of me, but there are apps. You can just Google it. TripWizard doesn't have where they tell you what's canceled, but TripWizard is a wonderful program that you can look up all your routes. It shows you the satellite views. We're not an affiliate program of any sort. We just love it. And I would say most of the RVers that are going full-time, they all use TripWizard. And if you're out there and you're traveling a lot, you'll use TripWizard too, I'm sure.
If you're savvy, there's a lot of apps out there. And also, we listened to a guy this week. I cannot remember his name. We didn't make the note on it, about weather, about pay attention to the weather.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one of the things we really want to put with tires and weather.
Well, weather, if you're traveling in the U.S. in the middle corridor, you've got your tornado season starting, and then you've also got your hurricane seasons down in the south. So I would get 3 or 4 different weather apps. Everybody uses different ones, and I flip around too. I don't just rely on Google to use, I actually use the apps and look at 3 or 4 of them, especially if it's kind of sketchy out there. And we look a couple days ahead and always look before we leave that morning of where we're going. Our big thing, and I would say most people that have an RV and even truckers is wind.
Yep.
In fact, this week the winds were so strong from Boise going to Salt Lake that 2 different truckers at the same time, a huge wind, they say it was up to 90 miles an hour, came and actually blew the trucks over as they were running up the hill. So watch out for that wind. That's the
serious
most important
stuff. The wind, you bet, especially with these big RVs. And there are some inexperienced drivers that drive them probably when you shouldn't be with high winds. So anyway, it's time for us to put on Lisa's interview with Dean Corrigal. And Dean is with Leisure Travel Van, and he's become kind of a friend of ours. And he is a friend of the RV business, but he is one of the coolest guys because he loves this business. He believes in the product, and he is pretty much the inspiration that got us to buy the one we've got. And
he kind of got into this by accident. He was the marketing and still is the marketing director for Leisure Travel Vans. And back in, I want to say the 80s, they were having a really hard time getting rid of their RVs. They had so much inventory, and one of the young guys came to him and said, come on, YouTube just started. Let's put together, it must have been in the 90s, a YouTube video together. And he just got out there and hammed it up. And, that's been his signature ever since. People love watching his videos. And I noticed that other agencies that are selling RVs, they attempt to copy his style.
There's a lot of copycats, which is it is a great compliment to Dean because you cannot duplicate what he does. Now, on this audio, if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or one of these, the interview starts out with Dean, and it's one of their leisure travel videos you can see on YouTube. And if you watch our YouTube channel for the podcast, you'll be able to see that. And
hit the subscribe.
Yeah, please hit the
subscribe. We're still
subscribe.
working on the 1,000.
We want 1,000. Everybody says good luck.
So we can
but I have faith in all of you that you're going to word of mouth it.
Hey, we got about 10 this week, so thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it too. And if you're watching us and you're wondering what the hell we're all about here, we are attempting to figure that out ourselves. But the program is pretty much dedicated to road warriors, meaning a road warrior is one of those people that's out there on the road all the time. Now, we love the RVers because they're helping commerce right now and helping business stay alive in some of these little towns, but also truck drivers. We honor the truck drivers because they're going through a war right now between gas prices and people stopping the supply chain, these kind of things. You guys are relentlessly getting food to the stores and supplies out there to all of us. And then commuters, you're driving your car all day and you're driving back and forth. You're a road warrior, and we appreciate it. And a lot of these road warriors listen to podcasts, and that's one of the reasons we developed this, is just kind of for you to know that you have a friend out there, and that's us. And we appreciate everything you're doing. And even the motorcycle riders out there who are tourists and who are traveling and spending money on the road, traveling and buying gas and food that are helping keep our economy going. Those are the road warriors we're talking about. And also food truck drivers, which this weekend in Boise, Idaho, is a festival for food trucks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was yesterday.
So, we were going to go and didn't have time. So that's what that's about. So without further ado, let's get Lisa and Dean on here, and we'll be back right after that and talk a little bit about it.
Hey, Dean from Leisure Travel Van, just going for a little walk this morning. We're very excited. We're in beautiful Hecla Island in northern Manitoba, about 3 hours from Winnipeg. I love how versatile this area is. Turns as well. So now we're back to a living room area. You can just take these off. I usually just put them right there. Look how fast. We're doing this in real time to see how long does it take to make the bed. People always question that. Look at this. This is pretty darn quick. Release the 2 safety locks. Look at this. Here comes the bed. How simple is that? 68 inches wide, 76 inches long. Can I still do this after 10 years, 12 years? Yes, I can.
Well, welcome. We're here with Frisky Biscuit Podcast today and Dean Corrigal with Leisure Travel Vans.
Thank
Dean,
you.
welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, this is exciting. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and about Leisure Travel Vans, the company that you work with.
Yeah, so Leisure Travel Vans, we'll start with them because they're the big part of me because they've been building RVs here in Winkler, Manitoba, Canada, right above North Dakota since 1965. Same family ownership, since 1965. As a matter of fact, Phil, one of the founders, is still alive. The other 2 founders have passed away over the years. So next generation of family running the company, and then the next generation of family running the company. So pretty cool company, Mennonite company. Mennonite, pretty much 90% workforce, I would say, is a Mennonite company here in Winkler. We're about an hour and a half from Winnipeg, which is the capital of Manitoba. And we've built every type of RV known to man over 60 years, with the exception of tent trailers, pop-up tent trailers. So, but other than that, we've built it. So Class A's, Class C's, Class B's, trailers, fifth wheels, slide-in truck campers, you name it, we've built it. So great history, really cool company. Wouldn't want to work for anybody else. I've been with the company for 20 years now. This is my 21st year, so
congratulations.
Long time. And I travel. I look after a territory for the company, and I look after all of Canada and kind of the West Coast and Arizona. That's kind of like a hockey stick, L shape. So keeps me busy on the road a lot. Normally, I know obviously with the COVID thing has been kind of a drag time for the RV industry as far as traveling goes. Great time for the RV industry as far as sales go, but we didn't travel as much as we normally do. So yeah,
Does it affect your company much?
No, you know what? It's crazy how crazy busy it was. We've probably never sold as many RVs in a 2-year period ever. Just because everybody wanted an RV, everybody wanted to get on the road, right? They couldn't go to Europe, they couldn't get on planes, they couldn't go on boats. So people decided to buy an RV because we're a moving society, right? We don't, North America, Canada, US, we like to travel like that. Nobody's sitting at home, everybody's moving, right? So that's kind of the cool thing about our countries. Like, we want to go in. We have two great countries, right? I mean, how beautiful is the U.S. and how beautiful is Canada, right?
Yes.
You don't need to go to Europe. We have.
And is the border open now between the countries? Are you traveling?
The borders are open now. Finally, yes. Our little government leader is finally seen the light and has opened up the border. So we won't get into that too much, but
it's good. So you're traveling, you're going to the shows.
Yeah, doing some shows now again for the first time in 18 months. So that was exciting. I was just did a couple shows in Oregon and Phoenix, California. Did a few in Canada as well. So good to be back on the road. As far as me, sorry, go ahead.
Have you seen the people that are coming to these shows? Have they? I mean, you've been in this business so long over the last 20 years. Have you seen them change?
Yeah, we. I would say, more people came into the industry before. It was a very cottage industry. In before, RVers were RVers, right? That was it.
Right.
If you RV'd, you RV'd. But now we have all these young people. What happened was with the COVID thing is that people were working remotely for the first time really in forever? Nobody ever worked for remotely. Like if you phoned your boss and said, I'm just going to work from home today, you're probably looking for another job the next day, right?
Right.
I mean, that would have been a true statement, right? But now you phone in and you say, listen, I'm just working remotely from home now. They're like, okay, so whole different demographics, whole different buyer, whole different RV user now, right? I mean, if I can live in my RV and work from home, even better. Right.
Yeah, I see you in the RVs. You're pretty famous now as far as leisure travel representative. And I see you do, in fact, that's what encouraged us to buy an LTV van.
Yes,
is your videos. And I see behind you, you have your YouTube. Is that 100,000 viewers?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're over 225,000 viewers on our YouTube, our subscribers, sorry. And I think the guys told me that total views of all the videos just surpassed 65 million, which doesn't make any sense to me, right? That's now that's all the videos for the last 10 years or 11 years, so, but it's kind of funny. Yeah, kind of funny that people watch them.
Well, maybe they'll subscribe to us too on the Frisky Biscuit Podcast. That would be great.
I hope they do.
Yeah. So people know you out there in the van, and I always see you in the van without any food, or all I see is your golf clubs.
My golf clubs, and
do you ever go
snacks. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we go out, try to get out with the family, for a week or so every year with a new model, something to break out. I used to do it way more. We used to go out on the road especially when my daughter was younger. We would go out on the road for months at a time. And show the motorhome, show the product to all my dealers. That was fun. But, we got so busy that we just couldn't build what we call demos or vacation units just because the demand was so crazy. We couldn't build. We used to have 5 or 6 demos we would have, that we would try. Now we still build the demos for the video shoots and for, brochures. And we try to get the staff to use them. We have a program here where we park them at different campgrounds and we have the staff use them, to get some feedback. So we still do that, but we don't have them as many as we normally did. So it's harder to get them.
You went from the Sprinter vans to the Ford and added that. Do you see adding in any other type of? I know they're using truck chassis on some of these today.
Yeah, some guys are using truck
going
chassis.
that way.
We don't really want to. I mean, just because it would be a big change. You'd have to change all your molds, and it's a 2 to 3 year process for all your fiberglass molds to be changed over that quickly. So we're hoping. We're getting reassurances from Mercedes. They have a new chassis coming out with a 4-cylinder twin turbo gas all-wheel drive option. So we're excited about that. I think the Ford microchip issue is going to resolve itself, and we're going to be good with chassis. So. We're hoping going forward that this last 2 years will be behind us, and we're going to be able to get chassis. Chassis are the number one killer. If we don't have chassis, we can't build the motorhome.
Yeah, you can't just get into tires and go.
No.
Do you see any other changes, such as the green machine?
Yeah, I would think that you're going to see in the next 5 years, electric. I think the big problem with RVs is they need that chassis got to go at least 500 miles before recharging.
Yes.
There's a lot of dirt between, Florida and Alaska, You know what I mean? Just from a distance point of view. So we in some of the questions that we've got from our chassis suppliers, what range do you need? Well, we're like 500 miles. You need 500 miles range.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's switch over a little bit to you. I mean, a lot of the videos online aren't about you. Is there?
No.
What did you want to do as a kid? Like, what was your ambition?
I think probably because I'm a Canadian boy, was always to play hockey. I'm a pretty big guy. So, hockey is always a Canadian dream for most kids, growing up. But, you realize that you're not talented enough. So you better do something. And, I've always liked sales, went to school. I wanted to be something, everything else but a salesperson, I think, was always my goal. And then, I was really going to be an accountant. I know it sounds crazy, but I really enjoyed accounting and numbers. But it just didn't, my personality wasn't designed for it. So,
well, gosh, that's everything, right? If you get the numbers part and the sales part, hey, that's where you ended up today, huh?
Yeah, I could be. Yeah, that's probably very true. But it's been really great. Really enjoy the RV lifestyle too. I mean, I grew up. My parents were RVers, so we had a slide in. We had a tent trailer, pop up a tent trailer first, and then slide in truck camper, and then other campers. And so we've always RV'd. So that part was just natural to me. So
you really grew up in the industry.
Yeah. So, and then was, fortunate enough to join Triple E and, been here ever since. And I told them they'll have to fire me at least 10 times before I leave. So I think they got 3 or 4 down. So they still got 6 or 7 to go.
Well, you started as a teenager, right?
Yeah, I wish.
Was there somebody that influenced you along the way that kind of geared you towards this? Yeah,
I probably, strangely enough, I worked at a retail dealership initially. So, and then I would meet some of these sales reps that came in, and I happened to meet the Fenich boys who started Keystone back in the day. And I just thought they were the greatest, come in to do the show, and they were so knowledgeable, and I really liked the way they handled themselves. And so that kind of inspired me to become a factory rep. So I thought that job was easier, but so I found out it wasn't. But, it was kind of funny. But be careful for what you wish for, you might get it, right?
Absolutely. Is there any other industry, anybody else in the industry like Keystone that has had such a long family that has continued on, like Triple E and are now?
Not too many left. It's all gone corporate, right? There's 4 big guys own the entire RV industry now. You've got you've got Forest River, which is owned by Warren Buffett, and then you've got Winnebago, and you've got Thor, which is the largest manufacturer in the world, and then you've got the Rev Group, which owns the Fleetwood lines, and then you got a few small family-run dealerships still, or own manufacturers, but there's not many of us left. Where 20 years ago it was all cottage industry, every little RV manufacturer was a family-owned company that started building RVs, right? There used to be 40, 50, 60 of them, right? Even in Canada, back in the 80s, there was 32 RV manufacturers in Canada. Now there's like 4 or 5 total. So
interesting.
Yeah. So it's kind of big corporate business now, big corporate.
Even in Canada, that's interesting.
Yeah, we're just one of the small family-run businesses. That's kind of which we like. We love that niche about us. And people. We have a great following of customers, like you guys, and the Leisure Enthusiast Club. I mean, we have a big following of customers. So
it's really wonderful to get together. I think one of the trippiest things that we did was to go to a rally last year and wake up and see 50 or 60 of your same van. It's almost like you're in a mirage.
Yeah.
Going, am I really here?
Yeah. When our company has no ego. We don't want to be number one. We just want to be the best, right? That's fine by us,
As many people at the shows now?
Yeah, shows have been crazy busy. Again? Yeah, absolutely. Shows have been crazy busy. Lots of new people have never RV'd before. Yeah. We're surprised at the amount of people at shows. We set a bunch of attendance records. But probably the craziest story, honestly, was the amount of orders that came in, when everything shut down in November or in May of 20, right? All businesses kind of shut down for 6 weeks there. The amount of orders we got in July, August, and September were crazy. Like we thought, dealers were making up orders. You know what I mean? It was great. Like, I think we got 900 orders in 3 months, which, That's crazy.
What was your average over the year? Like,
we probably average 50 orders a month, I think, somewhere in that range is kind of a normal, builds, order sequence of orders, not just retail solds, but yeah, to get 900 like that, it was just, we were just everybody's looking at everybody going, maybe there's is our system broken? Because it's all done on computer, right? So the dealer sends in the order, they have to fill it out online, right? And then it comes into us, and like they're just coming in. We're like, oh, the system must be duplicating each order, right? Or tripling each order. Like, so then we're going through the orders going, is this customer the same? No, this is a different one. This is a different one, It was just crazy. That was probably the crazy.
The same thing, or was it just?
It was everything, yeah. Everything.
Oh.
Yeah, like different orders, but just we thought, oh, dealers are making up orders and making up names, like, it was crazy. The system is broken. The system is duplicating. An order comes in, it's duplicating it 3 times. Nope.
Funny.
It was all legit, but that was as scary as you had, because when the whole business stopped, right? We're like, right?
Yeah.
Like every business is like, like, is this it? Like, what do I do with do I stop ordering? Do I stop, stop supplies coming in? Do I, what am I going to do? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. It just went crazy. It went crazy.
And it hasn't stopped.
It hasn't stopped. No. I think the towable business is slower now. There's a lot of towables out there because they were able to catch up, but the motorized guys, no. Motorized guys, because the chassis supply is a problem for everyone, so we've not been able to catch up. Yep.
And for those people that want to get into the RV industry and something like you do, like working in the industry itself, for the young people, I always ask if you have any advice for what you've experienced over the last 20 years, what you could talk to somebody that's a young person that wants to get into the industry.
Yeah, it's great, great industry, and short of staff right now, like everybody's scrambling to find people, I think the unemployment rate in the Elkhart area, which is the big RV manufacturer, is less than 1%. So, I mean, there's tons of jobs out in the RV industry for, everything, right? Because we're a house on wheels. So there's carpentry, there's welding, there's, electrical, there's plumbing, you name it. There's something that has to be done in an RV. So if you have any trade skills at all, making an RVs is fun. As far, for what we do in the selling business, I mean, that's even more fun because we get to deal with great customers like you guys, and you have fun. I remember meeting you guys down there, and I think we was in Pleasanton, wasn't it? If I remember correctly, was it? Yeah. So I mean, it's just fun to see people, and you have to be a people person, obviously, right? But you're selling fun. It's not a need item. So that part is the greatest. But having a good, I think, business background is good, because the people that we deal with, your husband's a doctor. You're dealing with, pretty well-educated people and fun people, and, everybody comes from a different lifestyle. And so you have to be able to relate to that. So you have to be really a people person, no question.
And have you seen the tech industry influence that as well?
Tech now is coming hard. Yeah. Heck, tech was, RVs were very basic for many, many, many years. We still dumped out of cleaning out our tanks and stuff out of, dump stations, right? But tech is coming big, batteries, solar, multiplexing systems, electric chassis pretty soon, So yeah, tech is coming hard to us because people want to run their motorhome off the phone, right? Just like we do with everything else. So yeah, tech is big. Tech's coming big. Yeah, we were probably the last. I bet we were the last industry that had to absorb tech, right?
Yes. Yes. Well, one of the things, it took us 13 months to receive our van, and there's always a saving grace that comes out and something that shines through. And for us, it was to watch all of these videos, to become part of the LTV family, to learn some of the things that they did wrong, not LTV, but just people in general camping, because we hadn't camped very much. So as we went out on the road the first time, which was extraordinarily scary, because we had this machine that's like an airplane and not knowing what we're doing. However, the videos and the knowledge that we gained through that year really helped us. And we also found what to purchase for the van, because there's all, maybe $1,000 worth of little things of what worked and what didn't work. So there was a saving grace that we can encourage people that are waiting that are out there.
Yeah, no, the leisure owners are great people. Like they just have so many great ideas, right? And it's a good club, and they're the enthusiast club. They're fun people, and they want to help out all leisure customers. So they're actually great people. So yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, we feel really privileged and honored to be a part of your family, and we really thank you for coming on the Frisky Biscuit podcast today, and trust that other people will hear you, and you'll get another 600,000 orders coming in.
Yeah. No, we want to, our customers are our most important, you have to have employees, right? I'm not sure the exact stage of 1, 2, or 3, but you don't have great employees, you can't build great products. And if you don't have great customers that buy your product, well, you're no further ahead. But our customers are great. They've supported us and been so loyal to us, over the last, we've been building RVs since 1965, and you wouldn't be in business since 1965 if you didn't build good RVs. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we're not perfect. We'll be the first ones to go, hey, every day we're trying to get better. Every day we want to do something better than we did the day before. But, we've obviously built a good product. Otherwise, we wouldn't have stayed in business as long as we have. And we care about our customers. Like, we know most of our customers by name. They call in, we know them, we know them.
So thank you again for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. And hopefully we'll see you at the rally.
Yeah.
All right, Dean Corrigal, Leisure Travel Van. Dean, thank you so much for allowing us to be part of your life and interviewing us and being part of Frisky Biscuit. And because you were so kind, you'll probably get a Frisky Biscuit t-shirt in the mail.
Yes. That was really fun. I enjoyed that interview a lot. But all the interviews I enjoy. If you want to be interviewed too, give us a shout out on our website, which is frisky-biscuit.com. And we'll set up either by Zoom, or we can come meet you somewhere or meet you along the way. We'd love to interview you. And we'll give you one of these stickers that's Frisky Biscuit Podcast, so you can put them on your car or your vehicle or your van or your truck too. We also have some other merchandise. We have a bunch of hats. This particular hat is us in the RV. So if you have an RV, this is a really fun hat. And it comes in 2 different colors, this burnt orange and kind of a blue jean. Then we have our Musai Media hats, and the one that Gary's wearing, which is the Frisky Biscuit. We also have other hats on our website, and a bunch of t-shirts, and the t-shirts are great. So go look at them. We designed them all, so I have to say they're great. But they are. We've had some really good feedback and some great orders, so we really appreciate it.
I think we got some great designs on those t-shirts. I like them.
Yeah. You can also reach us through the YouTube channel, which is Frisky Biscuit Podcast, and you can make comments on there, and we'll talk back with you. So we would love to hear from you, and we would love if you would subscribe. Again, we're still working on our 1,000 people. Once we have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, then we can go live.
We can go live, and that's what we're looking for. We're going to be out on the road here in a couple of weeks, and we are going to be doing the podcast from there in a couple of beautiful areas. So we're looking forward to that. A little terrifying because all this technology up in the mountains and up the hills and signals and all that kind of stuff, but we're going to give it a shot. And we're going to pre-warn you that if we happen not to be able to get the video, that's going to be the reason why. However, the podcast will be there. And those podcast outlets are Spotify, Apple.
Oh, there's Dieter, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Google. There's about 15 or 16 of them. They're all listed on the YouTube channel, and you can also click on them very easily on the website, frisky-biscuit.com. And the podcasts are all located on the website too.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've about exhausted our beautiful little program here today. Thank you again for Dean Corrigal, and we have more interviews coming up. We're looking to interview a trucker next, and more RVers out there. We're probably going to corner a couple of RVers while we're out on the road. So people that we've never met. And
watch out for us.
Watch out for us.
Here we come.
And the reward is that Frisky Biscuit. By the way, I noticed on your Suburban, you haven't even got a Frisky Biscuit sticker on
I
there.
know, I put it on the outside, and these aren't stickers. They're actually just kind of, what do you call it, where they just
They're a static cling.
static on the window. And I went through the car wash, and now the car wash owns one.
There's one laying on the floor of the car wash. You got to get that Frisky Biscuit on your car. You got to set the example.
Yes, yes. For
Well,
sure.
we're going to say bye-bye. So any last words for our beautiful viewers out there and watchers and listeners?
We love you. We thank you for listening to us and watching us, and we really appreciate you. So we'll see you out on the road.
We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.